to the sunny side. So let's talk inflation. Who are the biggest sufferers? Nigeria's inflation rate rose to a 17-year high of 21.09% last month, October 2022. This is according to the National Bureau of Statistics. This is a 0.32% increase from 20.77% recorded in September. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics made this known in its Consumer Price Index report for October 2022, released yesterday, Tuesday, November 15th. The Consumer Price Index measures the rates of change in prices of goods and services. According to the report, food inflation also sharply rose to 23.72% in the month under review from 23.34% in the prior month. Now, while the core inflation rate jumped to 17.76% from 17.6% recorded in September 2022. Maybe I'm speaking big English. Let's drive home the point. This morning, I was craving akara and pap. So I left the house in search of akara. I got to the vendor. Last I checked, the akara balls were being sold for 50 naira. But the quantity had reduced. The size, okay, so it's 50 naira, but it's now looking like something of 20 naira. And then the quality, as at the time I took it home to test. Surprisingly, the size also reduced. So they didn't just increase the price, they reduced the size of the akamu. So I was between buying the akamu and going home to manage the small cost that I had left. Long story short, the seller is my very good customer. So she gave it to me for the 50 naira. And I was just thinking to myself, could it get any worse? One of our news stories, the news bulletin, talked about even the hike in fuel price. So let's look at commodities that are most likely affected, especially commodities that you and I consume on a regular. We're talking prices of gas for cooking. We're talking liquid fuel. We're talking passenger transport by air, by road, solid fuel. We're talking vehicle spare parts. Christmas is around the corner, and we're going to be talking things like rice, fresh tomatoes, and other things that, you know, we usually make the Christmas rice to taste good. Or maybe it's not about Christmas, but this is the reality. Inflation. Every month we get these reports and we are scared. But decisions would have to be made. Now, the first question I'd like to ask as it concerns this conversation, very simple. Throughout the existence of humans, from primitive years up until now, we have always found a means of surviving or a means of survival. And then came the phrase survival of the fittest. When it concerns inflation, I'm not sure we are talking survival of the fittest. I'm sure we are looking at survival of those who can afford. So we're going to be making decisions centered on what comes into us monthly, weekly, daily. So we're talking revenue, we're talking income, and we're trying to measure up what we have coming in and what we really need and what then we can afford. So to you, the listener, are there products that you have learned to live without? Or you've found a way around them due to inflation? You may not necessarily mention brand names, especially if it's a brand. You know, for some commodities that are packed, they have brand names. Or you can mention the commodity. Let's say it's milk. Let's say it's salt. let's say it's gari, let's say it's rice. But yeah, last I checked too, gari increased from 1,000 to 1,200 for the custard rubber. So is it that you found an alternative, or you just created, you just had the mindset, you just found a way around it so much so that if I don't eat this thing, I'm not sure I'm going to die. If I'm not using this stuff, I would not die. Now, the second question will concern you as well, because when you look at the production and supply chain, you have the producers, then you have the wholesalers, the retailers, and then you have the primary consumer. But let's just, put them all together to be producer, buyer, and seller, just to simplify things. Who do you think, between the producers, the buyers, and the sellers, is most hit by the effect of inflation? The number to call is 070-0923-0923, 070-0923. Once again, the smart number, the only number to call is 070-0923-090364. To turn down the volume rate when we call, and also ensure audible so that we can hear us. I have Daniel calling. Hi Daniel, welcome to the sunny side.
Good afternoon, DD.
Good afternoon, welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, Chinke Daniel from Imogeto Zako.
Chinke Daniels, you're welcome.
Yes. My sister, I no longer drink pap.
You no longer drink pap?
Yes, that's Akamo.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, because I can't drink it or take it without a tin of milk.
Oh.
So today, for a tin of any brand of feed, whatever, it's not cheaper than 300 naira. That is the milk alone. You talk about the pap, talk about
sugar,
or fried eggs that goes with. So I only take it now maybe on a Christmas.
This decision you took, did you take it for yourself or the rest of the family?
Next year, like you said, fuel. From what we are hearing, fuel is the cheapest oil product now, which means next year it is going to be higher. And I am telling ordinary Nigerians like my very self, can we imagine what it's going to look like when they remove the subsidy
next year? Oh, that's another thing to look at,
are saying that they will remove the fuel subsidy. So I don't know which way forward. Then the worst hit is the ordinary man that consumes. The producer can stop and look for something else. Thank you very much, Didi.
Daniel, are you sure it's you that's losing? Because, see, one seller now has lost a milk and a Akamu customer because you've stopped taking milk and pap. See?
Then as a business person, he can go into other business. Maybe go into co-fire.
You are encouraging illegal bunkery? Is that what you're saying?
Anyone that your hand can reach.
Oh my God! Oh my God! So there you have it. Dear milk sellers, tin milk sellers, or tin milk manufacturers and pap makers, you just lost one customer. One is now going to be sold to them for 13,000 naira. Are you sure people are going to laundry? Okay.
Yeah. Like let me look at the area of let's say some starch we buy.
Starch. Okay.
Yeah. No, right from the beginning we were buying starch. Some of them 100, the bottle one. 500. No, I think I don't have something right now.
Interesting.
So, someone 200 to the agreement. Instead of them buying that bottle one, they are now going to the sachet thing. That is not the thing.
100. Did you increase price or you had an alternative?
Everyone will try to increase it, right? The customers will not say agree with you. So what will you do? They are still the inflation is still telling on them.
So now, are you still making profits even with the increase in price of starch, or do you still retain quality? I mean, do you have your customers come back and tell you that this cloth is not well starched or something?
You know, one thing we observe in business is that the customers, they need quality, but they don't want to pay for the quality. Looking at the inflation, even when you tell them, look, this is the amount you are buying this now, and because of this, we need to increase this amount to this particular one. They will refuse and will tell you there's no money. They will still be crying for you. So what will you do as a person? So that is what we are saying in the country. So the inflation is really telling on the consumer. Anyway, even let's go to food stuff. Even the food stuff. Like now, are you hearing me?
I'm with you.
Okay. Like now, I'm someone that I like eating beans.
Beans.
Yes. I like eating beans like twice in a week. But now I eat beans only once a week because of the high cost.
So you couldn't find I beg your pardon, a substitute for beans. You couldn't find a substitute for beans? Is it like you like beans or you just like to balance your diet, so you can have protein in your system?
I like beans.
Okay.
But looking at the inflation, I can't eat it the way I normally eat it before.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
All right then. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now on the sunny side, we're discussing inflation. Who are the biggest sufferers? Are there products that you have learned to live without due to inflation? I like this, like the last caller said. I like beans. Do I like beans? Oh yeah, I like beans myself. When was the last time I had beans? This morning, Akara. Nigerian folk, good afternoon. Welcome to the sunny side.
Mr. Zion, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
I think it's a timely conversation and it's also so interesting. So that we'll start adjusting our belt. We'll start adjusting without fear of favor. This is just the beginning. It will hit harder than what we are seeing now. I'm speaking from the ground as a businessman, especially I'm into the food industry.
Oh.
I have 2 restaurants here in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
And I will tell you categorically clear that it's not even easy for us that are doing the business. Now we are running on our lifeline. Some who cannot sustain are shutting down operation. The egusi cup normally sold for 800. This money is for 300, 350.
Wait, the egusi cup, you have different types of cup.
The milk
cup.
Milk cup.
Okay, I think I got egusi last week. I got it for 350. There is the hand peeled one and there's the machine peeled one.
And the machine peeled one.
Yes, and it was the other cup, the bigger, wider cup. Now the tomato cup, not the milk cup.
Yeah. Okay. Now you see how prices fluctuate. Some morning, our customers from the market, because from either Mile 3 or Sangana, where we deal with, today they are selling for 300. Now you are preparing that today you bought 300. Tomorrow should also remain 300. Tomorrow might be 350 or 400. And you are running a business and you need high quality, high quantity or high volume. Tell me, how will you sustain? Oh, the water leaf, yes, now. These 3 now 1,000. Initially, water leaf was everywhere. You buy them that 50 naira, sometimes you will be doing shakara.
You can get 400 naira before.
400, exactly. Yeah. Now it's hot cake. Then the ugu vegetable, how will you source it? As I'm talking to you now, we have somebody that can bring this thing from us from Eche down to us direct to cut some certain costs so that we can still remain on the business because we just find joy in doing it. Now, you that is coming to it initially now, we just increase our price to 2,000 naira per plate now for us to remain in the business. Initially it was 1,002. We increased it to 1,500 just to sustain. Last I'm talking to is 2,000 naira per plate. I will not go back if you like.
Is it plate of swallow or plate of rice?
Swallow. Swallow.
Whoa.
Now look at the fufu, the lolo you are celebrating. So your favorite.
See, please, let's not even go there because my spinal chest is paining me. The last time I bought Loilo at Chirokoro, the 15 naira quantity was not worth it at all.
My goodness me. And you see, there's this small round one and also the flat one.
I don't eat the flat one. I like those round one that is white and soft. You know, when you touch it, it's soft.
White
like that.
Okay. Now look at the quality, look at the quantity now. To be honest to you, it's not easy. How much is a cup of gari? And the economy is just struggling. Now look at gari that you buy for the 1-2. That's rubber. Most of the areas that are producing gari, fraud ravaged their communities. Cassava stems were not even safe or secure. Now, how will they source for cassava stems to prepare for the next farming season, which is about 2-3 months from now? Some have to go to Benue or Kogi or somewhere ever. It's money they will transport it down. And when they now abort the gari, how much do you expect them to sell it? It may run to almost 2,000 to 2,500.
Okay,
so the truth is this: we need to rise up with the occasion, and a lot the government needs to do for now. A lot the government needs to do. Food security should be our agenda for discussion.
All right. So, Mr. Zion, you have spoken as a seller, will I say? Are there times when you've had to give customers that come to eat food alternatives because that which they required was not affordable at the time you went to the market, and you had to tell them today no goat meat. What we have is pomo.
Yeah, there were times like that.
Okay,
look at it. The head of a cow, the cow head, we normally buy for 70-80K.
Cow head, okay.
As I'm talking to you, the cow head today is about 120-150.
Just the head, though.
Just the head, though. No, another part, only the head alone.
Okay.
Now, the goat meat that we used to buy for within 35-40K, now it is 60-70. So some alternative will use fish, this other small fish, you just peel them. Or how do you want it? Meat or without? Of course, if you say without, they just give you the normal the cow egg. But at least by the grace of God, our customers are those of the higher cadre, of course, the bigger guys.
They still want to eat what they eat.
They still want to eat and they want the quality. But as I'm talking to you now, the native white soup, we don't prepare it anymore.
Oh.
You know what they call white soup?
I know white soup.
We don't prepare that soup at all because it's too expensive if we want to go into it. And you know the implication in that white soup, a lot is demanded there. So honestly, we have cut corners and avoid some certain preparations. We just give them the quality, a little size, just for us to remain in the business.
All right.
So it's not easy.
Thank you, Mr. Zion. Ethel from Roma Hollow, good afternoon. Welcome to the sunny side.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dennis, how are we going to do? We said the same thing last, because the way institutions of everything, something else. I don't know whether Nigeria don't want us to exist anymore.
Well, it's not a case of, usually there's what we call the forces that affect the market pricing. Okay, Mr. Zion mentioned one of them, and it's something we've talked about here on Nigeria and for the flood situation.
But these are the local productions. The local products we have.
Eto, I can barely hear you. You would have to speak up, please, Eto.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, I said that sometimes some local products, they will inflate price and they will tell you, they will say dollars increase and the rest. All this thing is disturbing us. I'm into building.
Building, okay.
Printing, yes, every day by day. As a civil engineer, material shows to your client today. Tomorrow you have different price there. and you go back to tell the owner, your client, he will look at it, maybe you want to inflict price on him. These are something, you don't have a stable market in the country. What are we going to do about it?
All right.
I don't know. It's worrisome.
Thank you so much.
Talking about food, an ordinary Gary for a common man on the street. This thing is so worrisome. I don't know what
I don't think if you understand the current situation now, you're referring to Gary as ordinary. Gary is no longer ordinary. Ikechi from Eneka, welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Go ahead.
Well, you see, your question this afternoon about the inflation, who is affected, the producers, buyers, or sellers?
Who are the biggest sufferers in the mix?
Well, if you look at it, you will see that both the producers, buyers, and sellers are all suffering. But the ones who suffer the most is the buyers.
The buyers, okay.
Because the purchasing power of the buyers will decide the amount they can acquire. And if you look at the situation in our market, you see that we are having a lot of effect on inflation, coupled with the covetousness. Hello?
I'm with you. Ikechi, I'm with you.
Yes. Yes. Coupled with the covetousness of people, this has really caused a lot of issues. And the buyers are really okay, like you go to the market to... Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. You go to the market to go and acquire some goods. By the time you get there, they tell you it's an increase by 50 naira or 100 naira. Food is costly, and as a family, at least I know that my family reduced the amount we eat because of the cost of things. So the buyers are the ones suffering. The producers, I don't really think so, because they can easily hike the prices and get their own back because of fuel and have an effect on reducing the cost of the I really love his point. He made good points. He's even trying so much. There are people that are not reaching up to that level. For him to give such quality meals with such price, it shows that he truly is a man of honor. Not far from the kingdom. But what I'm saying is just that it's not everybody. There are people who hike the prices. And like for instance, stockfish. If you go to the place where they bring the stockfish direct from Aba, it's much cheaper than the market you go to buy it. I don't know if you know that.
I buy from the market. I've not been able to. I know if I go to town market, I'll get things a lot cheaper. But time to get down to faraway towns, I usually would source things from the Rumokoro markets that's closer to me. So I wouldn't know the difference.
Oh yes, yes. We also shop. My mom also shops at Rumokoro market. It's very, very cheap. Yeah. These days you just need to find areas that.
Oh, Ikechi, I'll have to let you go now. We need to go. Do people still spend as much at pubs, at lounges, recreational centers? You still have inflow as you used to. All these things are not basic, right? You can afford to live without going to the cinema. You can afford to live without visiting a recreational center, the parks. You can also afford to live without hanging out, chilling with the big boys and the big girls. But can you afford not to eat? For those of you that rely solely on power to run your businesses, and you live in an area where there is inconsistent power supply, generators to the rescue. But to power the generators, you need fuel, you need diesel. Can you afford to run your business without electricity? And so many other things that people would have to cut down on, moving on. And some would have to find alternatives. In the end, we have to find a way to survive through all of this. Next month, there probably will be another report. If we're going to have a dirty December, this December is going to be hinged on some of these factors. But in the end, we are Nigerians, we are resilient, and if there's one thing I'm certain of is the fact that we usually find a way around things. My name is Denise Daniswalu. This is The Sunny Side on your number one station for talk, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Up next is Trending Stories, then a live appearance, and The Sunny Side continues. To stay tuned.